Welcome back to the Daily Hit, where we dive deep into the untold stories of the world's most shocking conspiracy theories. In today's video, we'll unveil the top 10 white-collar crimes that shook the foundations of industries and shattered the lives of countless individuals. But before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned till the end for an eye-opening conclusion. Let's get started. Number 10. Bernie Madoff's Ponzi Scheme. At number 10, we have the infamous Ponzi scheme orchestrated by none other than Bernie Madoff, a former stockbroker and investment advisor. Madoff's web of deception spanned over decades, resulting in unimaginable consequences. Here's how the scheme worked. Madoff promised high returns to investors, but instead of investing their funds, he used new investors' money to pay off previous investors. It was a house of cards built on lies and deceit. The shocking part? Madoff managed to siphon off a staggering $65 billion, making it the largest financial fraud in U.S. history. Families, charities, and even celebrities lost everything overnight. The fallout was catastrophic. Madoff was eventually caught and sentenced to 150 years in prison, but the damage had already been done. Many victims were left in financial ruin, struggling to rebuild their lives. Number 9. Enron Scandal. Moving on to number 9, we have the Enron scandal. Once a revered energy company, Enron's downfall exposed the dark underbelly of corporate greed and fraudulent accounting practices. Enron executives manipulated their financial statements, hiding massive debts and inflating profits to deceive investors and boost stock prices. The corporate culture fostered a win-at-all-costs mentality, leading to disastrous consequences. When the truth finally emerged, Enron filed for bankruptcy, wiping out thousands of jobs and billions in shareholder value. The aftermath of this scandal was so significant that it led to the enactment of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, a legislation aimed at strengthening corporate governance and financial transparency. Number 8. WorldCom accounting fraud. Coming in at number 8, we have the WorldCom accounting fraud. WorldCom, a telecommunications giant, seemed unstoppable as it rapidly grew and dominated the industry. But behind the scenes, a massive accounting fraud was taking place. Top executives, led by CEO Bernard Ebbers, orchestrated a scheme to inflate earnings by a staggering $3.8 billion. They manipulated financial statements, hiding expenses, and inflating revenues, all in a bid to keep investors and analysts fooled. When the truth was uncovered, it sent shockwaves through the telecom industry. WorldCom filed for bankruptcy, thousands lost their jobs, and investors saw their savings vanish overnight. Number 7. Volkswagen emission scandal. Next on our list, at number 7, we have the shocking Volkswagen emission scandal. This scandal shook the automotive industry to its core, revealing a dark secret hidden behind the shiny facade of a trusted brand. Volkswagen engineers had developed software to manipulate emission tests, making their diesel vehicles appear far cleaner than they actually were. This deceit impacted millions of vehicles worldwide and raised serious concerns about air pollution. When the scandal unraveled, Volkswagen faced a global backlash. They were forced to recall millions of vehicles, pay hefty fines, and rebuild their shattered reputation. The financial blow was immense, with billions of dollars wiped off their market value. Number 6. The subprime mortgage crisis. Now let's move on to number 6, the subprime mortgage crisis. It all started with the premise of providing home loans to borrowers with poor credit histories. These risky loans were then bundled together and sold as mortgage-backed securities. Banks and financial institutions played a major role in fueling this crisis by approving loans with little regard for borrowers' ability to repay. When the housing bubble burst, these toxic assets triggered a domino effect, leading to a global financial meltdown and the Great Recession. Countless families lost their homes, businesses collapsed, and unemployment rates soared. The consequences of this crisis are still felt today, highlighting the need for stronger regulations and ethical practices in the financial industry. Number 5. Stanford Financial Group Ponzi Scheme. At number 5, we uncover the shocking truth behind the Stanford Financial Group Ponzi scheme. Alan Stanford, a charismatic financier, lured investors with the promise of high-interest certificates of deposit, CDs, but it was all an elaborate scam. Stanford siphoned off an estimated $7 billion from unsuspecting victims, affecting thousands of lives. The fallout was devastating, as people lost their life savings, retirement funds, and even their homes. However, justice prevailed. Stanford Financial Group was dismantled, and Stanford himself was sentenced to 110 years in prison. But the scars left behind by this massive fraud will take a lifetime to heal. Number 4. The ZHENLI money laundering case. Number 4 takes us into the world of international drug trafficking and money laundering. ZHENLI Ye, a Chinese-Mexican businessman, was at the center of one of the largest cash seizures in drug enforcement history. Ye was involved in the pseudoephedrine trade, a key ingredient in the production of methamphetamine. When law enforcement raided his properties, they discovered a mind-boggling $205 million in cash hidden inside walls, suitcases, and even an underground warehouse. The case faced numerous legal challenges as Ye fought extradition from Mexico to the United States. Eventually, he was apprehended and faced charges related to drug trafficking and money laundering. Number 3. HEALTHSOUTH accounting fraud. Now, let's unveil number 3, the HEALTHSOUTH accounting fraud. Richard Scrushy, the CEO of HEALTHSOUTH, orchestrated a massive earnings overstatement of $1.4 billion, creating the illusion of a thriving healthcare company. This audacious fraud involved inflating revenues, fabricating transactions, and deceiving auditors. However, the truth couldn't stay hidden forever, and the fraud was exposed. Scrushy faced trial, and though initially acquitted of accounting fraud, he was later convicted on bribery charges in a separate case. The HEALTHSOUTH scandal rocked the healthcare industry and damaged the trust of investors and patients alike. Number 2, the SATYAM scandal. At number 2, we unravel the shocking truth behind the SATYAM scandal, the biggest accounting fraud in Indian history. SATYAM, a prominent IT services company, boasted inflated revenue, profits, and assets, deceiving shareholders, employees, and clients. The fraud was exposed when Ramalinga Raju, the chairman of SATYAM, confessed to cooking the books for years. The consequences were dire, with the stock price crashing and the company facing a severe credibility crisis. Raju and other key players were charged with criminal offenses and faced legal consequences. The SATYAM scandal highlighted the importance of corporate governance and the need for stricter oversight in the business world. Number 1, the grand finale. Finally, we've reached our grand finale, the top white-collar crime on our list. It's a reminder that even the most trusted individuals can harbor dark secrets. Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves for the shocking tale of... But that, my friends, will have to wait for our next video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on our riveting conclusion. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and always question the truth.